Hello, it's Rob here. It's about 1:15 in the morning, so sorry this is a bit early morning. And also I just realised my microphone is absolutely dire on this laptop, so I need to upgrade my I think I need to get a headset, so apologies for the sound, but I just wanted to put this out because a few of you have joined and have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to mention first, before you look at that screen there, is you have to bear in mind that you get paid, whether it's your full-time job, part-time job, or whatever income you have, and even self-employed or benefits, whatever money you've got coming in for yourself, for your family, is paid by obviously companies. Your boss gets paid, who pays you. A service is paid, or sold, or a product is sold by the company you work for, or service or product. They get money from shareholders and from the people that actually sold, bought that product or service. So the money coming into the company, and also when it comes down to it, companies provide pensions on the pension scheme. The pension scheme that we hope would be there one day when we retire. Is either run by the stocks and shares, which is obviously run by the government and all the companies on the actual stock market. It's when you've got stocks and shares pension or stocks and shares ISA, it's all relative to the actual finances and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a finance person. I just understand the fundamentals, because I always wondered, so how do these hedge funds and how do these pensioned companies take our money and make a pension for us, for it to grow, even if we actually contribute? How does it grow over time? Even though the government put money in, still need to get it. But if you understand where it comes from, you can do your own. You don't really care. I don't really give a shit about a pension. I haven't got a private pension. I don't care if the what's it called? The state pension is there when we retire. I really don't care, because what I know now, you can do your own thing. It really doesn't matter. I don't like having someone else responsible for my pension. There's like a phrase of, you work 40 hours a week to retire after 40 years to live on 40% of what you actually earned when you actually were working, and sod that, no way. So I've been learning this for the last 2 years or so, not even half 2 years. So what I'm going to show you will change your life, and won't be just instantaneous. It's not a great get rich scheme, none of that kind of palaver, but do this over a certain amount of time, maybe 3-4 years, starting now. If you look back 3 or 4 years, time has flown. Rather do this than worry about where money's going to come from, and later in life you want to buy a house, you want to support your kids as you get older, you're wondering if you can have money when you retire. Whatever, I don't care, because you do this and set for life, really. I've got a friend who I used to work with, and she used to work in the Forex, like foreign exchange, on the floors doing the old hand signals and things, and she was told when to buy and sell stocks and shares and foreign exchange, and she's minted. I showed her this once, and she said, Rob, if you ever do this for the rest of your life, then you're just absolutely just spot on. So what I'm going to show you is pretty basic. So I know what I've been on about is complete gibberish, but bear with me. You don't have to be technically minded to do this. You don't have to be financial. If you understand it, then great. If you don't understand it, then just ask me a question. But I don't want you to do anything for months yet, so just keep your head above water. And what we do together is pretty much sort things out. But I just want to demonstrate what the effing hell I'm talking about, because people joined and have no idea. I'm just talking gibberish, but I don't want to give too much information too fast at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do is, we all know what the FTSE is, all the stocks and shares, and don't be wrong, I never touch the FTSE with a barge pole. Could do, but I don't, because it's not big enough, the percentage. But if you look at Amazon, for example, that's Amazon back in August 1997. So it was at 2 pence, and if this looks gibberish to you, don't worry, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's not the what it looks like, it's what you can do with it. So this is just a principle, really. Amazon back in 1997 was £1.73 thereabouts, and then it went up to $77. I follow a lot of Americans, so I keep talking dollars. So that percentage increase was 4,000 increase. So that's on the weekly chart, and then over the monthly. So over time, Amazon is now. So you see that retracement there. In November 1999, that price retraced, which is quite normal, 95%. So That's just how Amazon started. A lot of people bought Amazon and it went down because a lot of people took profits. That is just literally how charts work, how markets work, whether it's the stocks and shares, whatever you understand. So if it went up and up and up, and now these days it's actually 1,000 at the moment, £1,774. So that's just Amazon. So bear in mind, it went up and it had a retracement, which is quite normal for a chart when a company starts off or some kind of currency starts off. And then if you look at the FTSE, and again, don't worry about all this kind of, this looks like absolute gibberish. That's fine, that's not the point. The FTSE in the last few months went down 15%, which doesn't mean much in all relative terms compared to Amazon, but if you see the up and down, up and down, up and down, that wave there, so went up 12%. So it doesn't matter. That's just on the daily. Look at the weekly, back in the day, so back there, so it went down. So things go down and things go up. That's what I'm trying to say, is things go up and things go down. 44%, so quite a lot, nearly halved. But you don't hear of that because none of us normal mere mortals like you and me really give a shit, really, and that's when the stock markets went up and up and up and up and up, and then 60-70%. So basically that is one of the recessions back in the day, which we probably don't remember because we were at school. 2008, was I? No, I was at college. So that was actually the recession in 2008. So a recession is just basically when a lot of stocks and shares got sold, so it went up by 50%. There will be another recession coming, which I follow the guys that talk about it, which will probably go down 50, 60, 70% again. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is to help people out. So that's the FTSE. You've got the same thing in America, Dow Jones. So bear with me, it's all coming. So it all looks the same. It's all prices. It really, that's all we care about. So what I'm going to say is the world doesn't want you to know about this, but we all heard about the old Bitcoin back in 2017 when everyone became a Bitcoin millionaire in that stage there to that stage there. And bear with me, this is what will change your perception of things. Everyone became what was called Bitcoin millionaires here, and that is marketing hype, because what they didn't tell you is a lot of people lost money when it went down again. But it went down again because it was a flipping market, the FTSE went down and Amazon went down. Bear in mind, if you look at Amazon when it first started up, it retraced down that 94%. All Bitcoin is doing exactly the same thing. I mean, Bitcoin has been around for many, many years, but people just never talked about it. So if you look at here, that went up. This is back in 2007, December 13, went down 86%. But you never heard about that because the media, and I say the media are manipulation arseholes, excuse my French, compared to what you're learning, 86%. But Amazon went down 94, didn't it, on its first run. So exactly the same. What was happening in the world of Bitcoin 2 years ago, even half ago, is exactly the same as any other market. Dow Jones, the recession, all it is markets go up and they go down. But if you know where they go up and they go down, then you're pretty much minted. So what I'm going to show you is a bigger picture to this, right? So, and you don't have to about in any technical, and if I've lost you, don't worry, it will make sense in the end. So that was the the Bitcoin retracement originally. Since then, this is where people have made a lot of money, is where you can actually see the bottom-ish here, and it went up. So 100%, okay? And it went up. And this is, you don't have to, you obviously can, people are guessing when it went up and when it back down, but if you actually follow what I'm doing, you can bloody well tell when it's coming up. So that's 1, 2. So when you're doing this day in, day out, you can't tell, but if you look back, you can. But going forward, then you can tell. So 70, 80%. Okay, so got another one there. But all this, bear in mind, happened before we in the big public knew about Bitcoin. I mean, the friends of mine were actually, storing stuff back in 4 or 5 years ago before they realised it was going to kick off. A friend of mine sold this for 3,000 back in 2014, and he's kicking himself now. So that one there, 70% nearly, and this one, 200. That's where it all kicked off in the media. The media basically told you to get in here, but the big boys sold here. See where the big boys have sold, but most of the people didn't realise, and they lost a lot of money. But it just come down, and the what's called a bear market and also retraces up, down, which you can also, if you follow me, I'll show you where it's going to happen, because you can tell. So that one, 40%, and that one, 34%. So if you've got, say, several grand in the bank, you can make another grand or two there. And I know no one's got $1,000 and stuff, or £1,000 to actually play with, but it doesn't matter, because what's happening is this bull run, which is basically where things go up, is started to happen again. But most people don't know about it because the media haven't told you. That's where the big boys have started to get in here. And you see where it started to go up. It's now gone back up 127%. But have they told you in the media? No, because what they don't want is you to know about it, because what they want people to get in is when it's up here and the big boys sell out again. So what's happening in the next 2 or 3 years is a hell of a big deal. So if that's one time there. So, and it doesn't matter. It's not over the next 2 years. I mean, this is literally for the rest of your lives. This technology, whether Bitcoin or the other one is Ethereum. No, I can't show it actually because my screen's off the edge. There's all sorts of cryptocurrencies, not just Bitcoin, but the media have only told you about Bitcoin because that's the one they want you to actually dabble with, so the big boys can take your money and sell it again. But if you know what I'm doing, then whatever. And up 2 fingers to them, because you can do what I'm doing. So if you say ignore the bear market there, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's only over the last year or two, so that was back in 2015. So that's about another 3 or 4 years. But the price there will go a lot more parabolic now, because a lot of people will know about Bitcoin in the next few months or year or so, and it will go at much, much higher. If you look on YouTube, I can show you, there's a lot of people saying, well, thinking it will go a lot higher. I'll show you actually. Bitcoin. Come on, my laptop's been really slow. There's one guy I follow. Is it that one? Who knows his stuff? They called 350 million, 350,000. Sorry. And he's the guy I follow. He's got 400 likes and 29 dislikes, so he knows what's going on. So this is to stay. So what you can do, and I'll get to the end of it, I'll get to the point now because I'm running out of time because there's only a free recorder, is if you would take the 70% each time, and bear in mind this is only on the Bitcoin, you could do this on charts for the rest of your life. So if you take 50 quid and you times that by so you take 50 quid for example, and most people haven't got much money at the moment, take that times one, say 70%. Okay, it's that. Doesn't mean much. If you do that 6 or 7 times, say 10 times in the next 2, 3, 4 years, you got 5, 6 grand. Doesn't mean much. If you had 500 quid, but don't worry, no one's got 500 quid at the moment, and I know everyone would wish they had 500 quid to pay off their debts, but this is a thing I'm teaching you, not just to get out of your debt, but for the rest of your life. So if you did 500 quid, follow what I'm going to be doing, tell you when to sell, when to buy and stuff for the next few months, few years, etc. Oh, hold on, do that. Need to put that formula across. Then works out as that. If you did it once a year until you retire, say for example you're going to retire in 20 years time, like guys, people who've done stocks and shares all their life, and all these people who've actually bought houses and their pensions, and then you've got, where is it? Hold on. Oh, where is it? Oh, anyway, I was just going to put it into currency. Oh, there we are. It's there. It's a currency. You've got a lot of money. So, there's a lot of information to take in. I'm just trying to get my point across. So, it's called compound of interest. If you do 50 quid for the next 15, 20 years, instead of a pension, you work out 1.1 million by compound of interest. So, like this video if you've watched it, and we go from scratch. You do not need to know anything technical whatsoever. I'll be telling you when to buy and sell. For the first or second time I'll be doing it, I'll do it myself, and you can watch what I'm doing. But yeah, let's change our lives. Bye.